Now on the discussion, it is not a typical webinar, and that's why I will start like this discussion today with the challenges of thoughts. We would like to hear from all of you, and of course we are using like Zoom, where I think that most of you are used to this. We have like a chat and the Q&A where you can express yourselves, ask questions, and feel free to share like your thoughts. But I would like you to think that you are around an interactive table. Of course, you have like these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 faces that you can only see, with Andrea and Laura, our colleagues, supporting us throughout like the discussion. But I would like you to feel part of this discussion, because the point is to challenge altogether our thoughts, listen from colleagues that they are, let's say, a bit more advanced in the field of entrepreneurship, but everyone's voice counts. So feel free to raise your hand, feel free to write on the chat, and I would be really happy to engage with you further during the discussion. As I said, I'm Georgia. I will be facilitating the group of today, and I have with me Marc, who is working for and in the cooperative movement for the last 16 years. So he's a veteran, I would say. You can see here him smiling and waving. We are having Hanna, who coordinates a global program for young entrepreneurs within Coops for Devs. She's part of our team. We do have Kuba, who stands for food sovereignty, and he's the founder of Dobrze Cooperative in Poland. And we have also Marc, who is the founder of Mondragon Team Academy and a serial entrepreneur. So we will have interesting discussions today, and I will kickstart, let's say, this discussion with a very particular, or not for some, challenge. We are always thinking that each one of us is a game changer. Each one as an individual is a game changer for the society and the economy, but also the planet. Today we put the youth in the forefront, but we are looking also on the economic models that they can support this kind of empowerment. And the challenge is for all of you, but also for the colleagues in our virtual panel, to share a bit thoughts and challenge our minds around the conventional from one side and the cooperative entrepreneurship on the other side, and how these things work in order to put youth in the forefront. I would like to hear also like your thoughts. So start already like thinking around this, start thinking around characteristics, start thinking around like what are like the buzzwords for you like on entrepreneurship and on cooperative entrepreneurship. And now I will give the floor to one of our panelists who would like to kickstart the discussion of today. Marc, I see you smiling. I will throw you the ball. I will throw you the small Pac-Man, actually, that is the logo of the YDC.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, that's a good start, throwing us a bit in cold water. But it's an interesting one, I think, to pick up right from the beginning when talking about conventional and cooperative business model and youth, and the role that can be played by youth, or that is being played actually by youth. Today, it just threw me actually immediately a few years, well, quite a few years back when I was in university. We were having actually a student company, and we were doing phone calls for marketing research, but we were absolutely self-organized, very naturally, very flat hierarchy. We were shifting functions, doing the bookkeeping, doing the phone calls, depending on which language was needed, etc. And we were around a dozen of people, and it was fantastic actually. And I think I probably only found out later, like 3 years later, that it was pretty much like working in a cooperative, and that's that just came into my mind, because when you say like the challenges about cooperative and conventional business models, for me one of the first challenges has ever been firstly to even know about cooperatives and to learn about what a cooperative is, and that happened somehow quite lately. I think I really bumped into cooperative business model when around 24. when I was 24. Yeah, indeed. And then I got hooked.
Cool. Thanks, Marc. Jose Mari, the smile falls on your face now, and
Hello, everyone.
There is
Hello,
something
everyone.
triggering.
Thanks, Georgia, and thanks, Marc, for opening it up. And welcome, everyone. I think that is very, as you shared before, it's very important to actually try to address what might be the unique ingredients of cooperative entrepreneurship. I will be sharing maybe two thoughts that come directly to my mind. One, I think, is this fact that for us, cooperation, so we are not embracing competition, but cooperation. So I think this is one of the key ingredients when we address cooperative entrepreneurship. It's not about doing it alone, it's about doing it together. So, and it's not about extraordinary people doing things, it's about ordinary people doing extraordinary things together. So actually, when we imagine a society, it's not anymore about this 2-3% that they can do things extraordinary to create companies, but actually it's understanding a society where 60%, 70%, even the whole society might be able to become an entrepreneur. Because we do not need to be an extraordinary individuals, but we can be ordinary people that do extraordinary things in teams. For me today, cooperative entrepreneurship means team entrepreneurship, and means that each one of us, we choose not to do alone what we can create together. This is because usually why we cooperate is because in most of the cases we say, okay, yes, we cooperate because I'm not able to do it alone, so I need to do with someone. But actually it's not a need, should be a will. I prefer to do with others than do it alone. Once we have this in mind, I think that we flourish, one of the key ingredients of cooperative entrepreneurship. And then the other one, I think also connected what you were saying, Georgia, it is for us, the imperative of the social venture we are creating is a social imperative or a nature imperative, maybe an environmental imperative. But it has to be a social imperative, the one who enables us as an inner force, main motivation for creating a company. But then at the same time, while creating a company, it's not to just having a maximizing social impact and having as a restriction the economical one. But actually maybe it's more into this, what some people talk about the triple bottom line. In our case, we love to say quadruple bottom line, meaning that we need to maximize the social impact, we need to maximize the environmental positive impact, we need to maximize the economical impact, and at the same time, we need to maximize happiness impact, so the people who is working. So I think in that sense, these two ingredients that today we see more and more that conventional companies, conventional entrepreneurship is addressing more and more, we might be, from the cooperative movement, the ones who actually we need to lead from the front, or at least share from all the experience of the cooperative movement and really embrace it fully. And maybe the second aspect was you were mentioning, Georgia, regarding the role of youth. I think the cooperative movement as a tradition has been driven originally by the inner power, craziness, big dreams of youth. Today, in a lot of cases, we have lost a little bit this understanding, and we have become too big, too institutionalized, and some way we have lost that the inner power and craziness of the cooperative activity comes from youth. So I fully agree with what you were saying, Georgia. We need to put youth in charge. We need to put youth at front, because the youth is not the future, it's the present today, you know, and now with the COVID era, even more, when no one knows what will be happening tomorrow or in 1 week or in few months ahead. No? So I think, but at the same time, when we say youth up front, it's also not youth alone. So it's very important to put youth up front, but at the same time, from those people with further experience, who has lived more things before, to combine and to play together. Because cooperation doesn't mean, cooperative entrepreneurship doesn't mean cooperating among equal people who are similar, but it's embracing diversity. So we need multi-generational teams, multicultural teams, multi-located teams that actually, they come together to create solutions that none of them can create alone. So these first thoughts, I don't know if it makes any sense to open up this.
Mind-blowing, Jose Mari. I think that I have like already a lot of characteristics to, you know, like challenge furthermore, like our colleagues that they are here and they are like watching us like from far away. I will stick to one of your points, which I really like, and I use also like in my everyday, let's say, work. When people think that you know, it's only the skills or it's the status or it is this kind of power and strength that it comes from somewhere else, but it should come from the self, from ourselves. We are ordinary people, as you said, then we can do things not alone, but within a team. We can act within a team. And I would like to ask maybe Kuba, not because he is an ordinary people, because we are all ordinary people at the end of the day, but because the fact that they have started this great initiative with Dobrze Cooperative, it is exactly this. Ordinary people came together to change the reality of a community, of the community in Warsaw. So, Kuba, what is for you? What and how actually the Dobrze Cooperative relates to the fact that each one of us is a change maker in his own community?
Yeah, so hi again. One thing to clarify, I was not the initial founder. We are always a collective. So it was started from 3 people, then to 20 people, then, you know, it rolled to 500, but we always were together. There was always a group, not a single person, which is kind of you know, what cooperativism is about, right? Being together. The reality switch that we made into the Warsaw environment is getting better, bigger and better, because of, you know, we are a food co-op. So what we provide is actually high quality, environmental friendly food for the people who are, you know, in close vicinity to our shops. Mostly, we opened an online shop this Monday, so it's gonna be bigger now. But yeah, but for the last about like 6-7 years, it was it, right? So we were kind of a marginal. We were talking about this in the with the Around the World co-op video, that we still felt marginal. We are going to be a little less marginal with the online shop, but still, you know, this is the reality of shops, right? You have to be close to them to actually buy food from it, right? So we need to do more of this. We need to find another ways to scale up the things we are doing, and we feel that what we did already is a great base, great fundament for scaling up. So this is our future, to, you know, change the reality of also more. But the thing we did change in the close vicinity of the physical shops that we run is that people. I'll tell you one story that I love. That I used to have my shift in. We have this 3-hour shifts in shops, right? Because we have a cooperative, a collective. And we had this older lady that was living next door to one of our shops, and she came up to our shop on my shift, and she was not actually going there for shopping this day. She came with a book, and she said that she just read this book, she loved it, and she had nobody to talk about it, so she came to us. So we are in this place in Warsaw that people are not only, you know, doing shopping, but no, they're like open-minded people, friendly people who are welcome her to, you know, just chat with her about the book she loved. And that's you know, totally changed what we are. It was not about what we are going for, but this is what we came up with, right? This we were ended up with, like a community change.
Exactly. So on this, what you mentioned, Kuba, I think I would say like the power dynamics within a cooperative is not only about the services that it provides. And I think that it is also like another part that brings like this kind of beauty of the cooperative. The cooperative is not there only like to provide services, but is there like to provide community. And back to this as one of the characteristics of the cooperative entrepreneurship, I would like to go to Hanna this time and ask her actually, according to her experience, like within the field of education and within the experience that she has raised like through these global cooperative entrepreneurs, how she has seen like the different characteristics either evolving towards a more community-oriented, let's say, entrepreneurship, and what is the state of art, let's say, today for you, Hanna? The floor is yours.
Hi, great. Thanks, Georgia. Good question. I think also coming from my background of working with education and entrepreneurship, also with other models, not only cooperatives, within entrepreneurship interventions and education, you constantly talk about like generating new ideas and being innovative. And for many conventional business firms, you've always talk about the individual and the individual bringing a new idea. And this is something that I think the cooperative model brings a good alternative against, because it relies more on this principle that individuals coming together as a group is something more than just the sum of the individuals in the group. I'm not sure if it makes sense, but I find this, and I see this a lot working with entrepreneurs, and it's also applicable for myself, that if you have an idea, it usually grows and becomes better when you discuss and involve more people in your idea, and for more people to get involved and to take ownership in that sense. So I think definitely the cooperative model has a lot to bring in terms of bringing more inclusion and participation of youth, and also for them to feel ownership and get involved as a local community.
Super. Hanna, for me, like the buzzword, like in what you have already stated, is the matter of ownership, but also the learning and innovating, let's say, by exchanging with other people. I think that this brings me back to Jose Mari, that I have read, like I have done my research before, like this discussion about the team entrepreneurship. And I would like to bring it as a very interesting terminology. I was trying like to think, okay, how these words, they lead together, how team entrepreneurship is linked to the characteristics of the cooperative entrepreneurship for the inclusion of youth. Would you like Jose Mari to share like a few thoughts around this with us?
Yeah, I think that I think that is maybe what Kuba was saying, you know. He was very clear in the very origin of our project. It was not one individual, it was a team. So actually it's in the essence of cooperative entrepreneurship is people coming together. And when we talk about a team is when two or more people come together to do something they cannot do it alone, or they don't want to do it alone. So from that essence, I think this is one of the uniqueness of the cooperative entrepreneurship movement. But then, as Kuba was sharing with us, it's not that then you have 3 co-founders and then 3 founders and they are the only ones who actually created this. But actually, eventually, the beauty of the solidarity of the cooperative movement is that it's an open team for more people to join the same purpose and actually multiply. So then he was mentioning from 3 to move to 20, then from 20 to 200, and eventually you could become the whole world. So I think, yes, this might be the way, but what is from the educational part that Hanna was sharing with us, how have we been trained? Because the sad story is that educational system is based on individual performance. We have been trained since we were very small kids to be performing individually, to do better alone, to be marked and evaluated alone. And then in some part of the journey, we have lost what actually makes us really human. Because I think that was Dalai Lama who used to say that the human is a social being. So actually our identity is we fulfill our individual capacity when we do it together as a social being with others. And this might be the change. I think first we need to change the identity. Our identity is, okay, am I an individual entrepreneur or am I a team entrepreneur? Once you have said, no, I'm going to be doing together. I'm really happy to see recently a lot of young team entrepreneurs who are creating their startups. They prefer to label themselves as co-founder. It's much more beautiful to be a co-founder than being the founder, the only one, the heropreneurship, you know. But I think in that sense, we need to unlearn and come back to the basics. So we need to say, okay, even if I have been trained as an individual and I have been trained to compete, to do better than others, what if I reimagine who am I and I'm more doing together with others? And I prefer to cooperate, to do together, and I feel much more fulfilled when I do with others. I think this, in essence, this is a personal transformation we need to acknowledge. Once you see, and maybe from my personal experience, it was very clear, I have some skills as an entrepreneur, but to be honest, for many years that I was trying to do it more in these individual capacities, I feel very sterile. You know, I feel that I was not able to give birth to new creations when you are alone. And it was in the moment that actually I allowed myself to imagine to do the things with others, that sometimes it takes a little bit longer to do that, but then you realize that maybe you can become multiplying your capacity of creation. It's a little bit like we have been trained to play music as a solo player, or who is the good piano or who plays piano or cello player or singer who can do it alone. But invitation is much better to be, and in our case as a cooperative movement, is not being an orchestra, but maybe it's being a jazz band. It means you, from your freedom, you are free to play. There is not a script to play. It's actually a flexible performance where the one who plays this, who sings, can express freely herself or himself, the one who plays the piano, and there's a harmonious creation. And none of them can do what they can do together. So I think that's the invitation. No? Once we have changed our identity, then we activate this capacity of learning together. But sadly, we haven't been trained. There are not many tools in our backpack as learners, or doing it together, because maybe the only thing we have experienced at school is, okay, this activity is in team, what means, okay, we split, is 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. But this is not cooperative entrepreneurship. What means is 1 and 2 and 3 might become 5, might become 500, might become 5 million. So might be exponential, the capacity of this combination. I think this is the journey. And also, I think that's something that recently that entrepreneurship has become very buzzword and is everywhere. Entrepreneurship is not about not falling down, but it's about stepping up again every time you fall down. At least for myself, I'm a surfer, although I surf very bad, but for many years. But for me, a lot of people say, oh, are you able to catch a great wave? I say, I don't know, but at least every time that I fall down, I'm ready to stand up again and again. I think that's the understanding we need to have as cooperative entrepreneurs, or as what is success? Success is standing up together once and again every time we fall down and having fun while doing it, So it's not about the right answer, but the fun of doing it together. These thoughts.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Jose Mari. I see that Marc is raising his hand, and I will let Marc share a bit his thoughts, and then I have seen already that there are some very interesting also thoughts shared on the chat. So the people that they would like to raise also their hands so they can intervene what they have written, to say it also openly to the panel and to the rest of the colleagues. Please feel free, and my colleagues Andrea or Laura, they will bring you up to the panel so you can share your thoughts. Marc, go ahead.
Thank you. It's actually more a question I would like to throw, taking advantage of the fact that we have serial cooperators and entrepreneurs and youth entrepreneurs. I see also from the chat many here, but I hear actually one word came quite often, which is the word alone. And also, Jose Mari, you said actually in the beginning, youth should not be seen alone. There, I mean, it all started with these crazy cooperatives, with this energetic environment, etc. And I'm a bit wondering actually, because when I also look around here in Brussels, for example, while 10 years ago, nobody was really talking so much about co-ops, part of, as you said, the big ones, the ones which are very well established, there has been a completely new, let's say, spirit, and we can see and see cooperatives more and more in a bookstore, in delivery service, in a bakery next door. There is even a coop startup hub here a few blocks further away. And I'm wondering actually if there is if that is not something experienced by youth entrepreneurs and maybe also from the participants here in the roundtable, that there is sometimes maybe kind of a fragmentation between what is happening again now also in the youth entrepreneurship, in the youth cooperative movement, and let's say the more, as you call it, Maria Jose, the more established and big ones, traditional co-ops. So I launch it more as a question actually, or a question of how do you feel it, or do you experience that?
I don't know if you want me to share at least the first thoughts. I think new startups, when they are starting is in a team and as a cooperative, I think that they can be giving us a little bit of the hope of the new reality we need to create. But the reality is in our cooperative movement, we have very historical cooperatives who has become very institutionalized, very structuralized. This is good in terms of scale, but unless they are able to reinvent them constantly and reconnect with the capacity of people coming together to create things they cannot do it alone, sooner or later they will become not competitive anymore. And it doesn't matter the scale, you know. We have countries where we have banks, we have retail service that they are huge. Unless this capacity of the people who are working inside, the customers who are buying for these entities, they reconnect with this spirit of the very origin, the original why of this cooperative venture, sooner or later we will become, and now even more with the fast changing world, will become obsolete in their activity. No? So I think that's the invitation. No? As important is to launch new startups cooperative as it is to reconnect and reinvent the existing cooperative ones. You know? And in that sense, maybe a lot of people usually say innovate or die. I prefer much more to say innovate to die, you know, innovate to kill what has been structures that doesn't work and reconnect with the new rebirth that might be coming from inside you. I don't know if you were meaning this or not, Marc, but at least that was the spark idea with your challenging question.
Super, thank you, Jose Mari. I think, Kuba, before I give you the floor, maybe I could give the floor to one of the participants that has already raised her hand. She is Mrs. Yetnayet Teklewond. Apologies, Yetnayet, I'm not really sure about the pronunciation as usual. But please share with us your thoughts. You will have like 2 minutes on this. Please go ahead. Can you hear us? Yet, just for your info, you are muted. You can unmute yourself, and before maybe you go ahead, I will give the floor to Kuba, so we save like a bit of time. Kuba, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to add about what Hasamari told about, you know, being small co-op, big co-ops, and all this stuff. I believe there's, at least in our food cooperative, you know, ways, there is kind of a roof for how big we can grow. We are a collective, and this works until we know each other and we can, you know, like, let's say, play jazz with each other because we know what our skills are and we know what our interests are. And after that, I believe there's a way to syndicalize. I mean, to help others do the same thing in next neighborhood, right? With their own structures. Just give them the fundamentals, what we worked, what did work for us, and let them play, right? Let them play together with them, because before I think even World War II in Poland there was like a big co-ops, right? It's called SPOEM, whatever, and they changed into just another type of entrepreneurship business as usual. You know, people work there, they don't know each other, everything works same as other businesses. They own buildings, all this stuff, and they do not do the same thing we do, even though they are called cooperatives still, right? So this was like, maybe I can give back now my voice to Yetnayet, or
yeah. Super, Kuba, bravo. The pronunciation is excellent. Yetnayet, the floor is yours. If you would like to, now I can see you. Perfect. And you unmuted yourself. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I did. How are you guys?
We're doing well. Please share your thoughts with us.
Regarding entrepreneurship and the cooperative, I think I was listening to the ideas, and I like most the idea of being together and choosing to be together. It's like an option for us to be together and do business as an entrepreneur is a great idea in cooperative entrepreneurship. So we are encouraging our members even to create different kind of cooperative so that they could do better things together. Instead of doing by themselves, they could do a better thing when they are together. So that's the best idea now.
Super, thank you, Yetnayet. I think that we go like definitely back to what community means and how cooperatives, they are interlinked with this notion of the community, of the team, of feeling the ownership and feeling that you are you're not alone, but you are like with people that you can take decisions together. But I will steal a bit of your thought, like Jose Mari, when you use like this comparison of a band group. It's a matter of jamming. This is, I think, Marc like can confirm, like as as being like in a group, in a band. It's a matter of jamming. So it's how like we can tune, let's say, together our skills and our capacities on what Kuba exactly mentioned before. How like all these pieces of the puzzle, they can link together to make the cooperative step up every time that it falls because of the challenges. Now, going a bit to the challenges per se, I would like to go a bit to another kind of sort of challenge. If, of course, there are no colleagues that they would like, I will recheck here, like our panelists, our participants, I'm really sorry. So there is someone that would like to raise his voice or her voice, I'm really sorry. Albert. Albert, would you like to share some thoughts with us? Mukundane Albert. Albert, if you would unmute yourself and share for 2 minutes your thoughts with us, that would be really welcome. Okay, until this happens, because I will open up again the floor to different colleagues, I will go ahead so we don't lose time. And I see that my colleagues, they have moved already. Justin Nagas on the panelist. Maybe Justin, if you unmute yourself, you would like to share some thoughts with us. Super,
Hello,
welcome.
hello everyone.
Hi.
Well, I'm very glad to hear everyone's thought about cooperativism, and I couldn't agree more. And well, I just want to share about the context here in the Philippines. Cooperative is a big sector here, but our sector is more known to give credit. However, um, I would like to speak on behalf of my fellow millennials that cooperative for us here, at least here in the Philippines, sounds like it's not a sexy topic because it's just like more of giving credit. It's functioning like a bank. So I would like to really raise this concern. How can we pass the message or change that perspective of youth towards cooperative, that it's not just a bank, it's not just a financial institution, but it is a powerful economic and business model?
Thank you, Justin. I will take it like as a question, and I think that this is actually a sort of challenge, I would say indeed, because many times, I mean, I will not respond myself, but I would just like to share some thoughts maybe from my side, is that we see, or we have like the tendency to see young people collectively getting together in order to create a cooperative, rather trying to create this sort of covering or bridging this intergenerational gap by engaging youth in existing also cooperatives, bringing like what has been mentioned before, their energy and their power, that with the help of experienced already colleagues, they can bring the cooperative in another level. And this is not only a matter of scaling up, this is also a matter of innovating within the cooperative sector. Maybe on this, if Hanna also agrees, I would like to link it also a bit maybe with the skills and the training, in order to see how maybe through this principle within the cooperative identity per se, we could create more space, let's say, within the cooperatives in engaging with young people instead of marginalizing, let's say, them. Hanna, would you like to share some thoughts on this?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks. I think The first point to this is to relate back to one of the principles of cooperatives, which is the fifth principles, that they should provide education, training, and information to the public. And I think there, acknowledging youth is an important role, like see how existing cooperatives could support young people in their local communities to learn more about cooperatives. And this can be done in multiple ways. It could be through, educational workshops. It could be through, for example, engaging in one of our programs of the Coops for Them ICA EU partnership, which is the Global Cooperative Entrepreneurship. So within this program, we bring together cooperative experts and people from youth organizations in 8 different countries. We work together with them on how they could together form partnerships and work as mentors and coaches of young entrepreneurs in their respective countries, and to stimulate like local entrepreneurship. And I think like finding these type of bridging gap, like building partnerships with other local organizations that perhaps are already working a lot with engaging local youth in many different activities, and then bringing them like the expertise and knowledge about the cooperative business model is a really easy way of creating support.
Sorry, I muted myself. Any one of the other speakers would like to share some thoughts as a response to the challenge, let's say, that our colleague from Philippines has raised on this? It brings us a bit back to exactly how it's a solution-oriented, let's say, question. And I really like this question because it's one of the pillars of the discussion today, on how indeed like we can make youth part and parcel of existing cooperatives, but also empower them to create new ones. Any thoughts? Jose Mari?
From my side, I'm building on Hanna's point. I think the aim should not be to create cooperative entrepreneurs or startups, I think the aim, and when we really put the organization that they are choosing, and when we put the institution beforehand, the will, then maybe is when young people disconnect. And I think when we look at the young people all around the world, I believe today there's an inner fire in all the countries of young people willing to change the world. And I think the aim is, okay, we aim to change the world. We aim to create new realities that challenge the way we are doing things, not maybe just in questioning the status quo, but proposing new alternatives. Once we connect with these young people from all around the world aiming to change the world for good, then maybe they will end up, and the way to do it is not to do it alone, is doing it together. So then they become naturally co-entrepreneurs. But I think once we put the institution behind the aim and the fire, then maybe we lose a lot of people there, And then also another thing is the digital dimension. I do believe that today young people around the world, I feel very optimistic. Young people want to change the world. They want to create successful digital solutions. So they are really connecting entrepreneurship to embrace all the technological power and digital solutions. This is also part of the way to address global challenges. They will need to have platforms today. They need to have addressing digital platforms to address them. And there we can find cooperative entrepreneurship nurture after that, So I think that maybe if we change the angle in order to promote cooperative entrepreneurship, we need to go to the core, which is the fire in young people, to change the world, to create new solutions, startups, digital. And then based on that, while addressing the challenges, they will find that the best legal entity that might fit their desire might be a cooperative. I think this is the angle at least what we are learning in Mondragon Team Academy with this, we have 2,500 team entrepreneurs around the world. If we go from the beginning, do you want to create co-ops? They would say, what for, I want to change the world and I want to do it creating amazing projects. Okay, and then later on they will say, oh, this legal entity supports my values and I want to do it with this legal entity. So maybe this could be a way to, as Justin was asking us, to reframe how to approach young people that they do the buying and they connect their internal motivation with the aim of creating cooperatives. I don't know what you think, Kuba, Marc, Hanna, on this,
Okay, yeah, I see like too many hands raising here. Kuba, go first, then goes to the team. Marc, you come after Kuba.
Sure. I mean, about young people, right? This is the how to interest youth in something. I believe there are like several things, right? Young people are not interested in doing anything that is not fun or cool or is not being seen as those, but they peers, right? By other young people, right? So each country is different, so I'm not sure if this, works for Philippines or Poland or Belgium or whatever. But there's kind of a generation change, right? And the thing that are interesting, fun, or cool are different, right? When I was, in the 90s, the young person, let's say, in the youth, anything that came from America to Poland was fun and cool, whatever it was, like whatever. And right now, it's not. It's like nostalgia. Is the 60s, in the 70s, whatever was fun in Poland in the 70s is now fun now for young people or for people who come out from high school right now. So it's changed from country to country, but still those information stay. Also, I think that like standard thing that why when I was a young person, someone see like McDonald's as a fun thing or cool thing because of the commercials, because of the repetitiveness. This is fun, do this because they sponsor everything, you see it everywhere. So going with the message like the cooperativism is fun, it's fun to be in it, like a short information, but short message repeated all the time everywhere, that this is cool thing to do, fun thing to do. This is fun thing for us and our young people who made the cooperative. It was fun and it is still fun. So this is the second thing. And the other is let them try. I mean, I believe that anything that, like Josemari said, our education system is teaching us to be competitive, not cooperative, and to learn working the other way takes time and training. If you don't have a place to go and train, you don't gonna learn those things, how to cooperate. You can learn about it, like read about it, and listen to whatever podcasts or webinars are available. But if you do not go there and do this for a long period of time, it ain't gonna be easy for you, and it's not gonna be, you won't get the skills that are needed to do the jazz thing, to actually jam, right? Because you need those skills. You need those skills to cooperate, to make fun, right? To play fun music, or you need still like time, training, and opportunities to try. So just thank you.
Great, thank you, Kuba. Marc, you wanted also to add something on these thoughts.
Yeah, very quickly, because I think I saw also in the comments that the cooperatives or the cooperative model should be taught in universities. I couldn't agree more, but I think I strongly believe we cannot wait actually today for universities or the formal education sector to start talking about COPs. So that's why actually all the other initiatives, I mean, the non-formal education or what we're doing here today, or telling stories, actually becomes really, really important. And I think from that sense, how also to young people need at least also to know, even if it comes at the end, but for their innovation or for their activities, for the things that they would like to do together, there is the cooperative model, so that at least that they have it on the radar, that this option exists, and this very often is not the case today. So I think that's why what Hanna said before on the Global Cooperative Entrepreneurs program, I think is so important that we work together, the partnerships with the youth movements. That would be my first point, like really connecting with others, connecting with youth organizations, etc. And the second would be indeed, like we can also all be storytellers. We are involved in the COOP movement. We can talk about it and we can bring it forward. And I'm going also to put the link now in the chat, but most of you probably know it, the aroundtheworld.coop, which is actually telling the stories about cooperatives and which can then be inspirational and which can actually open the eyes about something which maybe somebody would not have thought about as a solution to an idea, to a business idea, to an entrepreneurship idea that they have, how the cooperative model, the governance, etc., can be really fitting. So I think actually we can really bring that forward by becoming storytellers and by really moving more and more also into partnerships.
Great, thanks a lot for your thoughts, colleagues. If I may also like make a kind of reflection on this, because I'm not here like only to facilitate, they have to share a few views. I do agree with you, Jose Mari, that it's not a matter of institutionalizing rather than making things fun. At the same time, it is important also to create this kind of educational alternation, I think, like it's called like in English. So the point is that people, and also like young people like us, I will say, they need to have like in their radar that there is an economic model that can give and can provide like this sort of fun of being a co-founder, of being a co-owner, of belonging within a team, innovating and exchanging, but without this kind of hard shell of institution that you have to do this, but that this is an alternative path. I think that this brings us again back to education. It is a matter, I think, that many of us and many of the colleagues, at least, that they are sharing also on the chat very interesting stories. They are saying that we need to realize that there are alternatives from an early age. We have learned, as you said in the beginning, to fight for ourselves, by ourselves, for our own good, basically, and not for the common good. And I think that there is like a huge shift, I would say, in the society. We see it like with the marches for the climate. We see it for the post-COVID, let's say, era, with young people being like there fighting for the huge, unfortunately, percentages of unemployment, where like youth is one of those that they are hit worst, let's say. So everyone is thinking on not only on the survival, but how like we can become the game changers. One of the colleagues also mentioned on the chat, I'm sorry, but I keep like notes, so I will miss like the name. We want like to go for social values. We do care about democracy because of restriction, for example, of civic space. We care about like economic and social impact, not only financial ones, but also social and environmental. So this is something that, I mean, of course, like it is not a conclusion, but I think this is something that we have bring more and more through our, let's say, exchanges and interaction with the youth-led movements, with young people, in order to grasp the needs rather than imposing, let's say, models, even like the cooperative one. So we can sort the needs from the bottom up. So we can look at how like these local needs and local actions that are challenging for everyone can be one of the points where like youth can have like a saying. I see like people nodding at me, so I will maybe give the floor to one of the colleagues that Andrea has already moved to the panelists. Do I have the name already? Mehmet? No? Ivjot. Ivjot. Nice seeing you. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Please share your thoughts. You have like 2 minutes.
Yeah, so most of the points have been discussed. I just want to add one point. The selling point to the youth can be that if you're going for the conventional entrepreneurship, definitely the gains that they're looking for is economic, no doubt. But in case of cooperative entrepreneurship, there's a social capital gain. And that is like, it has been discussed about, connecting with the team. But when you make changes in the community, not within the team that has worked on the enterprise thing, but for the community that you have actually impacted, like for example in a village, when people come to you, talk to you, and they share how you have changed their lives or how you have impacted. I think that is a gain that is not very much available in the conventional entrepreneurship, and that is what can be the selling point to the youth, that there is something extra that is to be gained in the cooperative entrepreneurship model.
Super, thank you, Ivjot. Thanks for this. Okay, so now I think that we will have to close here this beautiful first part of our discussion. Thanks a lot for the people that they have already raised their hands, joined, and have written on the chat. We will have a really nice teaser that will lead us to the next step of our discussion, where we will have this more local approach, what the cooperatives in a local community, the Dobrze Cooperative is doing in Warsaw. So we will have a teaser from our colleagues from around the world, .coop, a very nice partnership that we had the honor, I would say, to collaborate with Mrs. Sara Vicari and Mr. Andrea Mancori. So Laura, if you would like to share your screen with the rest of us.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Jest takie przysłowie. Powiedz mi, czym się odżywiasz, a powiem ci, jakim jesteś człowiekiem.
For me, food represents many things, struggle for equality, for example, or struggle for civil rights, food as a civil right. I would consider sometimes our business model as an anthill. We are cooperating insects, doing something really small all together, creating something really big.
Our food co-op is basically still the only co-op in Poland that runs stores. It's open for everyone, yet it has members on the different rules than shoppers.
Many years it was a baby, and I'm happy that it's 7 years old, so it's big enough to let it go and allow it to go wherever members want.
Okay, thank you, Laura, for the teaser. And now I will drop the ball directly to Kuba, that he will take us to the journey of Dobrze Cooperative. I know that we are running a bit late as usual, but Kuba will keep it up. The floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Sure. So it's now the time for our presentation, right? About the
yes, please go ahead with your presentation.
Just a few things to clarify. The teaser is very dramatic, dramatic music. So maybe my presentation ain't gonna be going this way. And also about the horse carriages, we don't have that many there. We don't deliver food by this way. It was nice touch though to add it. Okay,
cool. So until Kuba shares his screen with us and starts sharing his journey, I would like also to mention that we will have a bit of time at the end for Q&As. So please feel free to raise your hand and ask also about the story of Kuba. So Kuba, the floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Okay, so can you see the presentation? Because I need to be sure that you...
Yeah, everything is visible.
Okay, so let's start from here. So we are Dobrze Cooperative, right? We're a food co-op in Warsaw. As Rafał said on the teaser, we are the only co-op in Poland that has open shops, open membership, and we actually allow everybody who adjusts to our rules, sign up the membership rules, he can join our food co-op. We're founded those 7 years that Nina, I guess, in the teaser video said. But we are mostly young people, let's say, it's late 20s, early 30s, and it was started by people 7 years ago, so we were in the mid 20s, right? So this is kind of a part of a youth part of it. As a food co-op and as Polish rules, I mean Polish, let's say, house rules go, we're mostly female as most people. I mean, the issues in Poland are this way made. So women are taking care of food and cooking and all the stuff still. Anyway, we are a cooperative. We are made as a non-profit, non-governmental organization. We are set up this way for it makes easier life for us. And our values and principles are based on the Rockdale principles that somebody, I think Hanna before mentioned. So it's a voluntary and open membership, democratic member control, economic participation with members, autonomy, independence, education, cooperation among other cooperatives, and concern for community, building community. So this is how we made it. It was August 2013 that initial group, as small as 3 to 5 people were there. Then we opened our first shop a year later. Then we went to open second shop. We made a crowdfunding campaigns for both of them. And this September this year, we had received keys to our third local in the city, in the middle of Warsaw. And this is a big thing for us. Also, just this Monday, we opened the online shop. There's a link there. So in those 7 years, from 20-something people, 20-year-olds, we went to 500 members. We're hiring 15 plus people. It changes from month to month, but it's like 15 people work full-time on our cooperative. We have 5 people in the board of members, 5 people in the revision committee. This is like kind of a structural thing that we're trying to put management into our business model. We cooperate with 50 small farms and producers. We have fully stacked shops. We have an office in Warsaw. And this has all been done in just 7 years from totally nothing and just an idea of running a cooperative. This is a slide of our last crowdfunding campaign. We had gathered money from people all over the Poland and not only to actually have funds to open the online shop. So we're talking about, this was not about to be in my presentation, but we're talking about the support for young entrepreneurs. And this is the way we chose. We actually find it easier to make crowdfunding campaigns and gather money from the people than go to the donors and go for the red tape and all the hard kind of getting funds. So maybe this is also the thing for next young entrepreneurs, just make Kickstarter campaigns. Also, we gathered 25,000 zlotys, a lot of money in Poland, and we did it in about 2 months in the middle of a recession and on the second wave of a global pandemic, and still we managed to do it. So people are supporting this way of thinking and entrepreneurship. So this was our vision in the beginning. So needs are before the profit. We are being an alternative in Poland to whatever regular business model is. We show that this kind of a world is possible and doing every day. We support small family farms and businesses, and we focus on building strong supply chains. So we build relationship straight with the farmers. We are so awesome place to work. People love to work in our shops. When we had a call for new cashier because of how we grew, there was like 30 people send their CV to be a cashier in a cooperative. So for every single space we have, there's always a line of people who would love to be in this kind of a working environment. It's also the quality of life change. So because the shops are run horizontally, everybody is equal to each other, and this is kind of a new thing for many people. I'm gonna mention it later on. So about me, this is also a presentation about my journey, how I did end up in the cooperative and how do I feel in this thing. So at the beginning, I was looking for good produce, high quality food, and I think that was the thing that actually made me look for the cooperative model. But after a few months, it actually changed my life and changed the thing I was looking for. And what I found was a kind of a answer to the meaning of life questions, as philosophers stated, what is the meaning of life and whatnot. So the food community, and I'm gonna just mention a few more things. Community and relations that we are actually meaningful relations we have because of the cooperative way of doing business. And the cooperative way of doing the grocery shopping is totally new for me. I mean, before the joining the co-op. So we stay in close contact with the farmers. We visit them, we help them. If we can, we network them with other people and other co-ops that are emerging in Poland. We make our little festival, birthday festival, that was also mentioned in the teaser. Yeah, so because of those things, the relations that we actually try to put people together in those connections. People from city had no way, other way than our co-op to go and visit the farmers and see how they work. I had not made the visit to farm before I was, I know, 27, I think. The other part is the education. I had found out how the farmers work, how the agricultural and agroecology works. I had opportunity to participate in education, participate in courses and conferences I had not access to before I was a part of a cooperative, before I was a part of Dobrze Cooperative. We also help each other. We help others. We help our community. We help people who are around our shops, but also within the community. If somebody has kind of a hard time with or hard job to do, we try to target those things. So we are not only selling groceries, we are doing way more. As a food co-op, though, we provide healthy food and affordable food in the middle of a city. That is not an option for many people to buy this quality food in other ways. And we're going back to the meaning of this meaning of life thing that I wanted to show here. Now I have those ways to help people. Before being in a cooperative, I was kind of alone, right? So we were talking about this before, the loneliness, the competitiveness. I was raised and educated this way. And then I started to change those ways and change the ways I look at the business models or communities and actually helping people. This is the front of our next shop. It's not yet open nor repainted. But it's a very big one and a very nice place of city. I hope that you maybe visit Warsaw someday and visit the new shop. We made life better for communities around us. We are changing the city, and we are changing those little areas that we are capable of touching with our model of cooperative entrepreneurship. We brought farmers closer to the city and farms closer to people. We also tackle something that I like to call city loneliness issues, because when you live in a city, you can manage to go through your life and not know your neighbors, not know anybody who is running the shops in your neighborhood. Literally, you know your family and nobody else, and it's just the way it can go for your whole life. Because what we did in a Dobrze Cooperative, we managed to bring people to the community, bring people to our shops, to make them actually talk with the cashiers and to the people inside of the shops. And this is like a cheerful, happy place to go. And people are actually like doing the groceries in our shops. We are full of friendly people, and this is like when you go around the places that we had opened our shops already, you always meet somebody who you met before doing groceries or is a member of a cooperative. So you just go next to people and you just smile to them. And this is the little thing that I actually managed to see with the Around the World Co-op. It helped me to see that those interactions, I was sitting with them outside of our shop and just trying to make the interview video. And I couldn't, because each 15 minutes, 10 minutes, somebody from cooperative was going next to me, and I was smiling to them and waving to them. And this is the thing that never happened to me before. I ran the cooperative shop or the shops of full of collective people I know. This is Sławek, Sławomir Serwak. He's also in the big part of the Around the World Co-op film. He's a certified ecological farmer and producer. So he also makes like juices and stuff. He, after a few years doing business with us, he stopped doing business with anybody else because with the level of friendliness and the relations that we managed to have with Sławek is way more important to him than doing business with people who maybe pay him more. This is a change like in his life, in our life, and also in the way we see those things. Because when you're just in a business model, you don't care, right? You're competitive and you want to buy things as cheap as you want, and you just don't go interact with everybody in your supply chain, your value chain. We do these things differently. So we managed to find people like Sławek and for the other farmers that just when they go and bring vegetables to our shops, they just stay for a coffee, talk to us. It's just a completely different way of doing business, pretty much. But this is not the only way. Peer-to-peer or business model relations. We managed to find our way into legislation and interest in the local and parliamentary politician in our way of doing these things. We say a lot about combating climate crisis or climate catastrophe in the way that agricultural farmers, agroecological ways of providing food needs to be changed to change the impact on the environment. So as we talked about those things and we were more and more vocal, we got invited to another level of, let's say, another level of, sorry. So we just have a way now to talk to politicians. The politicians of the left, of course, in Poland are starting to listen to us, to our stories, to the way we see the world. And we provide them with opportunities to challenge the climate crisis, or at least mention the ways to challenge it. So my journey, once again, was life-changing. It was empowering, very much empowering in my life, and also delicious, because we are the food co-op and we provide the most delicious food and produce that I had ate in my life. It's fresh, it's ecological, it's good for environment, it's good for me, it's good for my family, and I'm very happy that I did this. And also the quality of life change that I mentioned before is like when I do groceries, I go there with my face full of smile, and this is completely different way that I was used to doing my grocery shopping at supermarkets or hypermarkets, whatever. Food is delicious, it's fresh, it's provided by nice people that I know and people that I like to support and talk to. But so about the democratic model of management that we have no boss, we have horizontal decision process, and we managed to find ways and models to have space for every member to claim his voice in a discussion. We provide General Assembly to make strategic decisions. We provide work groups for promotion, finance, online shop, and social media. We have specific action groups for topics like tackling zero waste policies or research if a supplier that we are in business with is ethical. Do you have downsides of the model I can share with you? Of course, there are some kind of issues with responsibilities. We have no boss, so no head of HR, no head of finance. So in the regular model that people come from, right, from when you can complain to your boss or just make an issue for a HR department, there is no such thing in our model. So we need to find other ways, and actually let the people work in other way, because nobody is used to it. As I said, there are not that many cooperatives that work in the collective way of model of the management. Also, the thing that I started thinking about when we had the discussion before, we have no vertical option of promotion anybody. So this changed a bit. Everybody knows that you're doing good in your work, and you're getting promoted, right? You start on the low level and then go up and up and up. And then you're going to be a manager or something like this. This is not an option in our model of cooperative business. So we had to tackle those issues also. The other thing is the burnout, the activist burnout that we actually see in people who are in our cooperative and is trying to do the managerial and the more interested in how we do things, because we find ourselves in the activist shoes, right? The most engaged individuals are experiencing burnout after 2 or 3 years of doing those things. So this is another issue that we actually right now are targeting and finding ways to change. But there are way more upsides. We have flexible, interchangeable group of people who are dedicated to the things we do, getting more and more opportunities to educate ourselves, like this thing here we are today, right? This is awesome. Also, we were invited to things like GCE. We have new organizations that call us or try to learn about more model. Just yesterday, we had talk with Catalonia Institute, who's doing the Horizon 2020 thing. Maybe we're gonna be in discussion about our model with them also. We provide purpose fulfillment and kind of a very meaningful way of work with cooperate with other people, creating community, and we managed to do all of those things. So the downsides are not that much an issue. We're just gonna find a way to do those things. So about scaling up, the photo on the left is Adam in 2014, and on the right side is Adam in 2020. We changed the same place, just 6 years from one to the other. So this was our shop, just few of kind of bottles, few vegetables, and in 2020, a few weeks ago, we managed to stack our shelves up to the roof. This is also the reason that our relations with farmers came further and further. About what I said with being marginal, we still feel ourselves in the marginal place. We opened the online shop, and we are on our way to stop being marginal and start to be small. And then when we move to this place, I believe it's going to be way easier for us to spread our view, our knowledge, how to do those things, and actually invite new, younger people to learn them, get the skills, and do it their way, somewhere else or next door if they want to. So there's another slide that I want to show you. It's about LEINN Coop. This is a girl, Marcelina, that were actually in the mentoring program provided by GCE last year. And just this week, they started their own cooperative tackling the issue about how to call it, sustainable recovery of things or things that are used in the industry of filmmaking, and try to resell them so they won't end up in a garbage lot and start have a new life. It's a buyback business. It's called like buyback. So this is also a kind of a start of building our network, because Marcina is also part of a cooperative Dobrze, and now she's gonna start her own cooperative that we're gonna support. And I think this is gonna the way that we're gonna go. Try to encourage our members to start their own cooperatives within our system. So this is 19 minutes. I was supposed to do 18. So
You're
thank you.
perfect, Kuba.
Thank you very much. If you visit Warsaw, please come to one of our shops. If you want, if you like us on Facebook, or just go to our Facebook page or our regular page. Talk about your friends about us. If you know somebody in Poland, tell them that we exist, because it's not as easy to go through the everybody that can learn about us. So that is the last thing. If you can, go to our site. I mean, this is kind of not showing, right? This is white. Yeah. So we managed to put a support us way of donating to our cooperative. Every donation counts. We kind of made those campaigns and found crowdfunding campaigns that let us do the thing that we wanted to do in our way, with no red tape, with no donors. And being individual as a cooperative. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Kuba. Thanks a lot for the journey of the Dobrze Coop. I see very nice words being written on the chat, and I will take directly if the colleagues, of course, they want, of course, like to speak out, our attendees. I see that Mrs. Irena Pistun, she's addressing already a question, and instead of me reading it as usual, maybe it's time for Irena to address the question to Kuba. Irena, what do you think? You can unmute yourself. Please go ahead.
Well, thank you, Georgia. Sorry, just as you were making me a host, I lost what you were saying. So yes, I'm interested in the Polish communities in the UK. We're based in Manchester and Salford. I work for Cooperatives UK. We're trying to diversify our message of cooperatives beyond just the English language, because our communities are very diverse, and particularly the Polish community is essential to our high streets, because the many shops that are there provide essential goods to not just the Polish community, but for those who are interested in the products. But we're aware that many of our communities now are feeling quite vulnerable due to Brexit. We'd like to offer them messages and options of how to do what you do in Dobrze, and perhaps change their models, which are privately owned high street shops, most of them, all done by their own resources. And yet it would be good to perhaps share with them what it is that you do. Could we get a look at your models in Polish so that we can share that with them? Or is there a way that they can access your models and find out a bit more about it in their language first, and then we can bring it into UK law and what have you?
I mean, of course, of course we can. We cannot provide you with anything to, let's say, we don't have a like recipe to do this, right? And on our side, but there is our story and what we did and how we did it. And also you can just, we can meet on Zoom or whatever, right? We can talk about it, and we can provide something for you. As I said, we are right now, it's like 500 people on the Dobrze Cooperative. So
do you have to register as a cooperative with your we, for example, have the Financial Conduct Authority in the UK. Do you have a financial institution that you have to register?
Yeah, but as I said before, maybe there was, I was kind of running through the presentation. I was afraid it's going to take too much time. So, so we are registered as non-for-profit NGO, non-governmental organization.
Sorry,
so
yes.
In Polish, it's stowarzyszenie, but yeah, we are registered.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Maybe it would be good if, Irena, you can send like a message to Kuba, or you can privately, let's say, connect on Zoom to exchange. I think that this would be much more helpful.
Yeah,
and I'm really happy to see that there are exchanges.
If somebody wants to contact me personally or our cooperative, just go to Facebook or to the site I mentioned, dobrze.pl. Maybe it's gonna be not that easier, but there's a option to go to your site and just copy it in the Google. and we're definitely gonna, help you for anything you need.
Sure, and we can always facilitate this process. So you can always write back to us, and we can link you to Kuba or to the rest of the panelists, of course. I will go to another attendee, another participant and colleague, Mehmet. Please unmute yourself and share with us your question and thoughts, please. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I'm really glad to be here listening you. It is really, I really admire all your stories, all sharings. Actually, I just want to shortly summarize the general situation in my country. Maybe it is beneficial for local developments on cooperative entrepreneurship in different countries, like our situation. Actually, I am in cooperative movement about 6 years, and the visits to Italy, Spain, and Belgium 3 years ago in 2017 was a big changing point in our movement here. What we have learned from those experiences in those 3 European countries, actually we try to reform our behavior and perception to cooperative movement and try to increase collectivism. And the main challenge in front of our cooperative movement here in Turkey, project cooperatives now. There are many UN institutions and many European Union organizations in Turkey support establishing cooperatives. And not those supports are not from base to up, top to base, and giving money to people to establish a cooperative. This is really conflict in cooperative principles. And I'm working with FAO about 2 years here in Turkey department. And I'm trying to explain this wrong attitude in front of cooperatives. And hopefully in Mardin, now I am in Mardin. Actually, I'm from Izmir, but one of our project is Mardin in the east part of Turkey, near Syrian border. And we have a cooperative here. And very similar stories, people writing here, like in Poland. I'm really glad to listen about Polish experience because it is now tomorrow I will directly explain your story actually to all cooperative members here in Mardin. In Poland, people are doing that step by step like that. So it was really nice coincidence that we are together right now. So our efforts on that, just reforming perception and attitude of people in cooperative movement, because they are understanding in different way. So actually we need more support. Actually I am, as a consultant, try to do many things. I try to attend many things. I'm in now platform cooperatives program to learn more and try to understand. Here people translate all information into Turkish first, then make usable here. So I need your advices, because I never forget in Italy, in Lega Coop, they told me that you are like our 20 years, you are like ours, but 20 years ago, we were like you in Italy. Now you are trying to be pioneers of cooperative movement in Turkey. So I need your specific advices actually in that moment. What could be important to pay attention to not do something wrong in this situation. Thank you very much. Sorry, talking a bit long, but
Thank
the story is there. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing like your experience. I would say if I might pass like the ball on this to, first of all, if you don't do something wrong, you will never learn. I don't know if it is a Greek saying or it is like a test and learn experience, but I would say that you know, like we are allowed to fail in order like to be able, as Jose Mari saying like in the beginning, to step up every time that you fail. Maybe on this, to provide like a short answer, because we do run late on this. Maybe Hanna, you would like to share a bit, you know, like where this kind of information could be found, and give a hint around what we have put in place already, for example, or if other colleagues would like to share some of their precious advice with Mehmet before we close today's discussion. Go ahead, Hanna.
Great, thanks, Georgia. I will be super brief and give time for others to give more advice, but just to recommend one thing is that in September this year, Cooperatives Europe, as an activity under the ICA-EU partnership, launched what is called Coopedia Knowledge Base. And it's a collaborative search engine, open source software, where you can go in and create your own account, either as a searcher, only looking for different resources, connected to how you start up cooperatives. So it's really a step-by-step approach where you can find resources in multiple languages. Or you can also, if you already know about many resources available in Turkey, you can index or post these resources on the Coopedia knowledge base so that more people can access them. I will share the link to Coopedia in the chat, and then please feel free to use it, and also the email address in case you have questions.
Perfect. Thank you, Hanna. Jose Mari, you wanted to take the floor. Please go ahead.
I was willing to share with you, Mehmet. I really like how you quote, well, we found inspiration in Europe, and now in a country that still we feel that the cooperative movement might be in an earlier stage, we feel so committed. You know, maybe sometimes we feel the challenge to hack the system, to put cooperative at the core of the new creation. And from my experience, I had some experience in Asia. And for example, for me, it was very fascinating to see also a young country embracing cooperatives, as it is South Korea. They have a new law starting in 2006 that embraced cooperatives to be nurtured, and then from the local government there was some sort of support. And for me, it's one of the most inspiring places today to see the flourishing of cooperatives. So in that sense, I think that it doesn't matter that when you are sensing this, come on, we might be 20 years behind what must be happening in Europe. I think that's great. You know, this is like in a family. It's as important as the newcomers, the new kids, to bring all the joy, all the energy, all the craziness within the family, you know. And I think that as a world cooperative family, we need from each other a lot. So maybe what you find as an inspiration, now you become an inspiration for us, you know, in that sense. And yes, we need to hack the system to embrace this. Also, another country that we have some fellows working on bringing cooperatives to Singapore. Singapore is a system that hasn't been embracing in the past. So actually, you need to find the ways to actually be present. So my invitation is, with the same spirit you bring, please lead us and count on us for any support to make that happen.
Great, thank you. Thanks a lot, Jose Mari. I will have like to start closing this beautiful interaction and discussion that we had today. Chat went crazy, as my colleagues they would say, Andrea and Laura, that they are sitting behind the scenes. And thanks a lot for all the input that has been put on the chat. Of course, we will save all the information. And of course, wherever there have been no questions, with the permission, of course, of the panelists, we will try to address any remaining questions. I will ask the panelists now to just give us some closing remarks. Kuba, please go ahead.
Yeah, I would just like to answer to Mehmet for a second.
Please.
Because he said, how did it work for us? I mean, two things that were very important in the beginning. Sorry, my cat came here. Was finding supporters, like being vocal and state the things that you want to do and just keep repeating them, and people will come up to us to actually, yeah, this is a great idea, we're going to help you. And this way we found supporters in local councilmen, people working for government and making easier things for us. Also the NGO thing that we chose to be, it was also suggested by somebody, so do this thing. this is going to work for you because this is the answer for your questions. We didn't know that. Somebody told us because we were keep stating the things. We want to open the shop this and this and this way, right? So you cannot do this as a business model, but you can do this as an NGO, right? So this worked in Poland. I don't know which is gonna be, was the answer gonna be in your country, but you know, somebody's gonna show you. So somebody's gonna help you if you keep saying what you need. Yeah. Thank you.
Super, thank you, Kuba, and excuse me for not asking further. Marc, I don't know if you have like any remarks on this, or I would start with you on the closing remarks, up to you.
Oh no, then thank you, Georgia. Then I would just, and thanks a lot. I was just, sorry, I was just also reading through the chat. There's so many points actually which are coming up. I'm very happy actually with that first session today, and I think we had a lot of discussions around inspiration and exchanging around innovation, etc. And I think there was an excellent kickstart, and I'm looking forward to more sessions to come. And thanks to everyone for having set that up. And I would just maybe also say from our side, super happy to receive all feedback after that session. So we can see how we can bring that further in the future. Thanks, Georgia.
Thank you, Marc.
Thank you all.
Hanna, the floor is yours. Closing remarks from your side.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for this session. I think it's just a great example of how when you interact and discuss around topics, it's super interesting to hear all the different reflections, and I hope that this is the start of many new connections between us in the panel, but everyone who participated today. So I'm excited to see where it will lead and new partnerships and collaborations. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Hanna. Kuba, your last thoughts for today.
Yeah, so thank you very much for organizing all of this. Thank you for inviting me and being interested in Dobrze Cooperative and what we do. I've seen just in the chat that somebody asked about my email. I think it's going to be the easiest way to provide it through you, because if I write it on the chat, it's going to disappear in a few seconds. So I will just leave it for you and just maybe put it on the site somewhere. Or...
Great, we can do this and facilitate the process, again. No problem. Thank you, Kuba. Jose Mari, last thoughts from your side, all the way from Spain.
From my side, I will have to say, I think that cooperative movement has been always nurture and strength in when there is bigger needs, and there is crisis. So in that sense, for me today is very inspiring day. I see like a young movement within the International Cooperative Alliance in between COP for Death and the AroundTheWorld.coop as a very strong hope, and bringing light. This one sentence from the founder of Mondragon. He used to say, it is better to light up a candle than blame darkness, So I think recently we are overwhelmed about all the darkness, all the shadows where we live. And at least for me, for today, I bring this light, I bring this inspiring light. I feel much more excited about what can be coming next. And as Hanna was saying, I do believe that this is the very beginning of something new in that sense for each one of the participants who came today, to at least light up one idea, one possibility. And I do believe that there's nothing more powerful than when someone allows himself, herself, to say loud something that he or she believes, and then finding someone to do it together. So I hope that today is a sparking moment for us, all of us on this. And thanks a lot for inviting me. At least today you bring me energy for the following day and to keep bringing light, candling up the world. So thanks a lot, Georgia, Andrea, and the whole team.
Thank you everyone for the very nice words. I think that it is just the beginning. I will agree with this. As I said, it's a new initiative. Thanks for all the people that we had since the very beginning, no one left. And that means that the interaction and the discussion was interesting, not only for us showing our faces in this online table, but for everyone. Keep it up, keep the ideas and your energy up. And we are here always to listen to your proposals, to listen to your ideas and thoughts. And indeed, let's bring action together further. Have a lovely evening, night or day, depends where you find yourselves in this world. And see you all very soon. Keep well, thanks a lot.